The accepted way of doing a proof in maths is to take one side of the equation, modify it until you get to the other side. It's always a good idea to try and start with the more complicated side and just make it simpler. So we're going to take the left-hand side, and we notice that we have sine theta plus cos theta squared. Now, this means sine theta plus cos theta times sine theta plus cos theta, and we have two brackets, and the expansion of those brackets, you take the first term, multiply it by every term, you take the second term, multiply it by every term. It does not equal sine theta squared plus cos theta squared. We do have a rule for this, which hopefully we know, and that's a plus b squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So let's do that, and we will get sine squared theta plus 2 sine theta cos theta plus cos squared theta minus 1 on the numerator divided by cos squared theta on the denominator. Okay, sine squared plus cos squared is a rule that we know equals 1, and so we end up with 1 minus 1. Well, that's just 0, so they all disappear, leaving us with 2 sine theta cos theta divided by cos squared theta. Now the cos theta on the numerator will cancel with one of the cos's on the denominator and just leave us with 2 sine theta over cos theta. Sine theta over cos theta, of course, is tan theta, so we have 2 tan theta, which is the right hand side, and we have proved it. For part B, we see the word hence, and that is telling us use what you just did in part A to help you in part B. Well, even if you couldn't do part A, we can make some progress in part B by just, well, I'm just going to use that. Where they had the sine theta plus cos theta squared minus 1 divided by cos squared theta, I'm going to replace that with 2 tan theta because they told me they're equivalent. And if we do that replacement, we get 2 tan theta is equal to 5 tan cube theta. Okay, it's a mistake to divide by tan theta in this case. It's always a mistake to eliminate a variable, because if you eliminate a variable, you could be eliminating one of the solutions. So the safer option here is let's move all the variables to the same side of the equation. Let's take the 2 tan theta over and get 5 tan cube theta minus 2 tan theta equals 0. Now, we should know by now when something equals 0, let's factorize, use the null factor law. That's really going to help us. So the only thing that factorizes here is the tan theta, and we take it out and get tan theta in brackets 5 tan squared theta minus 2 equals 0. So that actually tells us that tan theta can be 0, and if we had divided by tan theta, we would eliminate this solution. We would not have realized that. The other solution, of course, is from the brackets where 5 tan squared theta minus 2 equals 0. Now, it's kind of handy at this point to look at the question and make sure we know the domain for our variable theta. And we're told theta is between negative 90 and 90 degrees. So going back to tan theta equals 0, the only solution which is in that domain is where theta is equal to 0, and that is our first solution. So working with the other side, we rearrange it and we'll get tan squared theta is equal to 2 on 5, which means that tan of theta is equal to the square root, but the plus or minus the square root of 2 on 5. Now we could just put these into the calculator and we should have our answers. If we put the inverse tan of the square root of 2 on 5, we should get 32.3 degrees. Of course, it's a positive. We're in the first quadrant, and that's an acceptable answer. Now, if you put the negative, your calculator should also give you negative 32.3 degrees, which again is a good answer. It's within our required domain, and that would be all the answers. Now, let's say we weren't smart enough to put the plus or minus in, and we just did the square root of 2 on 5. That gives us the 32.3, and we should think again, all right, so in the quadrants, where can tan be positive? First quadrant and third quadrant. Where is tan negative? Second quadrant and fourth quadrant. Except for the domain is cancelling out the second quadrant and third quadrant and saying you can only have answers in the first quadrant and the fourth quadrant. So it leaves us with the answers that theta is either 0, it's negative 32.3, or positive 32.3 degrees.